You drop back.
Back to throw Montana.
You find Eddie Brown in the back of the end zone.
Stepped up throws.
The game's over and you win.
And the 49ers have won the Super Bowl.
That would be the ultimate of any Super Bowl.
If you pick your nose, and we all do, if you pick your nose and you get a good booger on the end of your finger, and you try to flick that booger off by throwing your thumb outward, that booger's not going anywhere. But if you will take your thumb and turn it in, and at the same time your wrist snaps and your fingers release, crud, you'll have them ducking all the way across the room.
Number 3,
you
he's
throw a
just about
spiral,
ready to
and you
kick this
flick a
one
booger
away.
with the same motion.
This is Sam White, offensive mastermind and quarterback guru.
3rd down and 2.
From the 5.
As a coach, he taught some of the best quarterbacks the finer points of
takes
throwing the
this one
football.
back to the 20. John, each team has a lot of weapons.
As a player with the Cincinnati Bengals,
a lot of scoring in this one.
White knew how to throw a spiral. He just didn't do it very often.
Veteran Sam White, a proven backup quarterback, but certainly no superstar.
On first down.
Sam White was awful, and I mean this. I was the highest paid player per minute of playing time in the history of the league, mainly because I never played.
White stayed in Cincinnati for 3 years, learning from head coach Paul Brown and quarterback coach Bill Walsh.
Franks, the
Bill and I
motion
were really good friends. We weren't that far apart in age. I can remember he said one day, you know, if you keep at this, I think you'd make a good coach.
His quarterback, number 14, Sam White, functioned like another coach.
Which was his way of saying you're not a very good player, but you might be a good coach.
In 1979, Walsh became head coach in San Francisco.
Alderman comes in motion, looking for room.
One of his first calls was to White, who was hoping to become a high school coach.
On the same day that Bill Walsh called me to say I'm going to take the job of the 49ers, would you be interested in coming out and coaching the passing game? On that same day, I got the rejection letters from 2 North Carolina schools saying, Sam, we are rejecting you on your qualifications. You've never coached. We are looking for an experienced coach.
But White was qualified to mentor the 49ers rookie quarterback.
Let me tell you, when you're coaching Joe Montana, it's real easy. You fold your arms, you take about 3 good giant steps backward and stay out of his way. That way you get to be a good coach.
In 1981, Joe Montana led the 49ers to a Super Bowl win over White's former team. 2 years later, White's former team hired him to be their new head coach.
You're on your own.
Well, thanks for the short introduction, Paul. I appreciate that.
Years ago, when I was a rookie in 1968, I used to take real good notes. And Paul Brown used to take one playbook each year, and he would always take the playbook from the player that he thought took the best notes. Well, he selected my playbook, and he had remembered that. That's how he said that he came back to me, that he was impressed by my note-taking and thought I'd be a good coach.
Sam White's life had come full circle. He was back where his career had started, working for the man who used to be his coach. And on the day White was hired, Paul Brown returned White's old playbook.
It's still early in the game.
In the coming years, White would transform that playbook into an offense which the NFL had never seen.
Lines up in a 4-3. A little misdirection.
Dropped in the backfield for a short loss. Good job,
1984, Sam Weich's fourth season as head coach in Cincinnati. Boomer Esiason was drafted by the Bengals the second round.
He can run and he can tackle.
He arrived with a big
watches
arm,
so much tape
a big ego.
that he actually anticipates
I
what
was
the
very
offense
upset
is
that I
going
was
to
not a
run
first-round draft
before they
pick,
call
and
the
when I
play.
think back to that time, I wonder what happened. I think partly my personality was to blame. I was not afraid to say what was on my mind.
Clamping down on the receiver
I
whenever he
always
enters their
felt
zone.
like when I played football that I wanted to be who I was as a person, that I did not want to be some cookie-cutter quarterback.
Should have passed it. Gets rid of it. And it's caught. Lewis is there for the
I always
tackle.
thought of Sam and me as a bucking
midfield.
Bronco with a guy that's trying to tame him.
Oh, so he was a bucking Bronco. Okay. Threw the ball so hard that sometimes the ball would fly on him, so he'd overthrow receivers. They used to joke that he was the only person that could overthrow Castro. I never said that more than once or twice.
Ball on the 41-yard line.
You know, it's like we gave up on that.
I think you could probably describe him any animal that's wild, because he needed to be tamed a little bit.
There was no taming nose tackle Tim Crumrye. A 10th round draft pick who, like Esiason, was surprised he was selected so late.
When you see an opportunity, that's when you attack.
You get me rolling on that. I was too light, too short, too slow.
Comes out in a 4-3.
And one thing you can't measure computers, your heart. I got a heart of gold. I'm going to make the team. I'm going to play a long time.
Crumrye was the prototypical nose tackle.
Comes up to make the play.
Farm boy from Wisconsin.
Scan the
Former
defense
wrestling
quickly
champ.
here. Nothing's open
Badass
downfield.
with bad
Get rid of
ego.
it by passing to one of
This
your
is a
backs.
trophy of all wrestlers. It's a cauliflower ear. If you see somebody with a cauliflower ear, he's a wrestler now.
Gets the pass off.
Crumrye foremost
Pushed out
was a
at the
football player.
24-yard line.
And number
This is a
69
big play.
loved
Everyone
proving that he
needs to
belonged in the
execute out
NFL.
there.
Here's a guy that basically had the biggest chip on his shoulder that I had ever seen. I mean, he was so ticked off at his draft location. Every practice was like 3rd and 1 on Sunday afternoon. And it would always be a fight. It'd always be pushing and shoving. I mean, he went 100 miles an hour. At times, it got to be uncomfortable. We'd all be wondering, is there something wrong with this guy?
I was the pain in the ass guy. I was the guy going 100 miles an hour, raising hell, making all the guys mad at me. They were scared somebody's going to cut me.
Before he was able to get control of it.
Yeah, we see a lot of footballs popping up when he makes contact.
Tim was the spirit
His
of the
instincts,
defense.
no,
He was the
when
one that
he's
everyone
hit,
looked at and
how to
said,
do
hey,
it.
if he can go that hard, that many snaps,
Leads the field
then we
goal
can do it.
lead
And
in
I
the
think
game
it was
for
a
the
big part of
attempt.
everything coming together.
Before everything came together for Weich, the Bengals nearly fell apart. In 1987, Weich was facing his mentor, Bill Walsh. The Bengals had the lead, the ball, and they presumed a 2-0 start to the season. But on 4th down, with 6 seconds remaining, instead of punting or taking a safety, Weich decided to run the ball.
6 seconds seemed like we could make a nice little sweep, jog around back and forth, and just fall down. The game would be over.
That shows blitz with all his defenders moving up to the line of scrimmage.
Right to the near side.
Moves in motion.
Montana throwing for the end zone. Right,
The counterplay. Keeps his feet.
That's one of the hardest losses I've ever been a part of, and it was my fault, the whole thing.
The 30, the 20.
We come into the locker room, and I mean, there's going to be a mutiny. The team is going to want to kill Sam.
When you talk about a dangerous
Weich had
back,
lost his team,
this is what you have to
literally.
be able to do. Not only get out there and outrun
Following
the
that
defense,
game,
but have
NFL
the
players
power
went
to
on
bounce
strike,
off a tackle and keep going.
which was an awkward time for newly appointed player rep Boomer Esiason.
I was crazy passionate about carrying out the wishes of the players that I played for. I never thought in my wildest dreams that it was the right thing to do simply because of the amount of money that was going to be lost.
And no one had more money to lose than Esiason. 2 weeks before the strike, he had signed a 5-year, $6 million contract.
So I was against it initially, and then when we got into it, I had no other way but to go full speed ahead, which is what I did, put my reputation on the line, and it was a really tough situation. I figured that a picture is worth 1,000 words, so I decided to sit in front of this bus.
I want the guys, though, to be independent thinkers and
number 84.
individuals enough to evaluate whether they want to be on a picket line, laying in front of buses, acting silly like they are right now, or whether they want to be professional adult men that want to live in this community.
I've never regretted that moment because I really thought that
number 82, the man in
my
motion.
teammates' support behind me because they knew I had the most to lose.
You guys got workouts seriously planned for D-Day or during the day? No.
Gives the ball off.
Workouts planned for during the week? No.
Randall is there for the tackle.
No, we're just going to go over and hang out at the corner.
Make sure the defense knows that they have to cover every receiver.
Okay, well, that'd be a mistake. We don't have a football. We don't have any pads. We don't have any helmets. How are we supposed to work out? I'll bring you some footballs from home so you guys can work out.
So I did run practice. In the first practice that I ran, I had a hat, I think it said coach on it, had a whistle, and I had a clipboard. And I asked everybody to come out to LaSalle High School in northern Cincinnati. I even invited the press to come. And I brought everybody around and I said, okay, guys, welcome to practice. The first thing we're going to practice today is how to take the safety at the end of the game so we don't lose a game. And I put Chris Collinsworth in as the punter. We snapped the ball. Chris ran out the clock. We go home. We win the game instead of losing the game. And then I called practice. That was it. It was over.
At the 40-yard line.
And essentially, so was the season.
You got to take it to him.
The 87 Bengals never recovered from the strike, finishing 4-11. There was plenty of blame to go around, but most of it fell on the coach and quarterback.
With the pass,
I think it was an exasperating, frustrating, completely out of control season.
Third down, they had to get it to the 30 for a first.
The fan didn't want to hear about $1 million quarterback sitting in front of a bus, going on strike, and things of that nature. And I could completely understand where the fan was coming from, but I'm still a human being. When somebody says something negative to you, and it seems to be a reoccurring theme, you're like, maybe I need to get out of here.
Esiason thought about leaving. Weiss wondered if he'd be fired. But Paul Brown kept his quarterback and his coverage. And 1 year later, his loyalty would be rewarded.
Pass ball's incomplete. So, second down upcoming.
Spread the ball around and make sure the defense knows that they have to cover every receiver.
Sam Weiss was an amateur magician who occasionally performed for his players. What he did in 1988 with the Cincinnati Bengals was one of the greatest tricks in football history.
And this pass is
Sam really worked literally his magic.
The quarterback knew exactly where he was going to be and threw the ball right on target.
I give him a lot of credit because he did a lot of things that no coach would have ever thought about doing.
Number 3.
Including rooming black player with white player, offense with defense in training camp. That really helped the situation.
The hope was that the players in December, when it got really tough, would be able to look at each other and say, I know that guy's wife's name. I know how many kids he has. I know what's important in his life. We've talked about things that mean more to us other than just football.
It was different. It made the chemistry come around.
From the 3.
Wakes everybody up. We're not doing it the right way. We're going to change. No matter what it is, change is good.
They couldn't stop them from
Weiss
getting
wanted a
into
fresh
the end zone
start,
the last time out.
but he was more concerned with how his team would finish.
Now shows blitz with
In 1987, the Bengals had a chance to win 7 games late in the fourth quarter
with a man in motion
and lost them all.
Not being able to finish off the game led to the word finish becoming the keynote for the 1988 season.
Be physical, keep your poise,
line of scrimmage with defenders.
everything we start. Finish everything, guys.
From the first game, it was clear that 1988 would be a season of fantastic
Pushes it out to
finishes.
the left. Redmond pulls him down at the 45-yard line.
Here's a good defense for this situation.
New England shifts their set so they can tackle on. The Patriots come out in the nickel pack.
We're excited.
And the coverage
coming
on
off
the
the 87 season. It didn't take too much to get us excited. We have a goal line stand, and hell, everybody's jumping up and down like we won the Super Bowl. We just made a good play.
Defense lines
That's what
up
we
in
were
the
paid to do.
Kick their butts right now. Let's go. Stay after them. Finish everything.
Nice placement. Gets the pass off. He was tipped. Number 8 was the intended receiver on that play. That's right. Who's there on the cover?
I guarantee you they're not going to quit. Nice going. I don't want to hear any of you guys ever talk about our fourth quarter
Rucker goes
play
to work
again,
with an empty
unless you've got some that I don't think you've got.
We have to fight ourselves from the doldrums of last year to gain respect this year. I was watching ESPN today, and Ax Delman's making fun of the Bengals.
This is a good
and our coach, and
play.
that kind of stuff just makes you sick to your stomach.
1 year earlier, Boomer Esiason was the one making fun of Sam White.
Punt it away.
Now,
Number
quarterback
84
and coach
sets up,
were
waiting
having
for the
fun.
punt.
Very nice, very nice.
Joe Montana was one of the most productive quarterbacks in the history of the league.
not to
Boomer is a
return this
field
one.
general, as a commander on the field. He was the ultimate.
Center, move it. No, strong right.
He carried himself the way a
Keep the
quarterback
defense
should
guessing.
carry himself.
Don't forget to use misdirection and play action to keep them off balance on
But I
passing
tell you
down.
what, he demanded respect, and he got respect from the players. He had enough ability.
The
He was
Dolphins
a good enough
line up in a
quarterback to
4-3.
back up his mouth. Hey guys, you guys got to man up now here. Let's block this thing up and let's go.
Let's get the show on the road right now.
He's there for the
No matter what
tackle.
happened to him,
The
he would
successful
still
running
stay on those
attack
guys.
requires good
He
blocking up
created the
front to
chemistry
be
of that
effective.
offense.
Second and maybe 3.
Let's go, attack! Attack!
The Bengals were running a no-huddle offense.
Davis lines up
And it
behind his
looked
fullback in the
and
arm.
sounded
Justice sends a man in motion.
like pure chaos.
I don't think ever in the history of the NFL had there ever been an offense remotely, even to this day, close to this.
On the carry. Collins comes up to make the play.
At the time, everyone was saying, hey, this
Get
won't
some
work.
time in the
It's
pocket and
crazy.
be patient with it. Don't
Of course,
force it
everybody's
into
doing it now,
coverage.
but
Ball on their own 22.
at that time, it was getting a lot of criticism.
And it was scoring more points than
The
anyone
Dolphins
else in
come out of the
1988
4-3.
because it created
Gets the
mismatches
pass
in
off,
coverage
short swing
and
pass to the
forced
running back.
defenses to do something they dread.
21. He
You had to
wraps him
think.
up and now has 4
And the old
tackles.
saying goes, every time you
Second
think
and
as a
10.
football player, you hurt the team. Instead of just lining up and reacting and playing, he made you think before you had to do something.
The
What is he going to
Dolphins
do?
line up in a 4-3.
The magician,
Throws it.
and perhaps the best play-action quarterback
He's there
ever,
on the stop.
playing now you
At
see
the
it, now
31-yard
you're
line.
done.
Scan the defense quickly here. Nothing's open downfield. Get rid of it by passing
For
to one of
White,
your back.
football was a beautiful game. To succeed at it,
The
you needed a
Dolphins
quarterback
with a 4-man
with a
front.
beautiful mind.
This guy thinks ahead. He's always anticipating what's coming next.
Collins comes up to make the
He's a
play.
star.
At the
And I wasn't going to call
35-yard
him that.
line.
If I don't
You're
call him
under
that now,
pressure
then
here.
people are going to think
You
I'm
feel the
stupid
heat. You
again.
got to make quick
He would put a lot on my
Make sure
plate.
that
He would
good
expect a
Ball on
lot
their own
from me.
35.
Take my play. Change the play.
He would never let me wear a
They'll go
wristband
from
on
the
my
I
arm to
formation.
cheat.
They should give you. They should have a cheat sheet for you. They should. Because this is not a normal
43.
And he would always drill me mentally every day.
What do you expect if they bump each other? Bump, bump.
2 to go.
What coverage?
So at the end of 1, the score is 14-10.
release.
Dolphins.
647 bend in. I think I passed my oral exam today.
The team
He actually tried. Remember the Dirty
Give some
Dozen
time in
movie,
the
The Dirty
pocket and be
Dozen,
patient with
where
it.
they
Don't
would
force
go
it into
through because they had all those
Ball on their
bum
own
prisoners,
43.
and they would try to attach a rhyme to what each guy was,
Miami comes out in a
supposed to be like.
4-3.
One is the gun goes up the rope, and this and that.
Looking to
2 is
run
the
it
shoe.
here.
One gun. Two
The
shoe,
Dolphins
2 shoe.
3 is
pick
the
up
tree.
fumble.
4 is the door.
3 tree, 4 door.
And I said, Sam, I think maybe 3 of us understand what you're doing. The other 30 have no freaking clue. So whatever you do, you got to dumb it down a little bit. It was just fascinating every time he would come up with something.
And early in 1988, it was virtually unstoppable. In the Bengals' 6-0 start, the former bucking Bronco threw 15 touchdown passes.
Once he finally got me refined in the way he wanted me, we took Bill Walsh's 49er West Coast, very cerebral system to another level of thinking. And it was remarkable that we could all get together on the same page and pull it off.
New England now crams the line of scrimmage with defenders.
And off goes to Ickey. Left side, he is down. Touchdown!
With the throw.
Ickey Woods.
This touchdown by rookie Albert Ickey Woods
At the 43-yard
marked the
line.
birth of a
Ball on the
legend
43-yard
and a
line.
dance craze.
New England
And
shifts
Ickey
their
does
set
a
so they can pack the line.
Put a dance and spikes the ball.
You remember the old Oldsmobile commercials?
The
Not like your
Patriots
dad's
come out in a nickel
Oldsmobile.
pack.
That kid, he's got all the moves.
Dropping back. Pressure. Gets the pass off.
When he came back, he started telling the story about this dance.
He has a
Well, I
great
think
feel
he'd
for
been doing
defending
it
the
a
pass.
couple of times, but it
He
hadn't
always
caught
seems to
on
be in
quite
great
like it was
position
about to catch
to make
on.
a play on the ball.
Alderman
It caught
was his
on because
intended
Woods
target.
kept
The
scoring
Patriots
touchdowns.
come out on a nickel pass.
And after many, he performed his signature moves.
At first it was like, oh, that's such a silly dance, but now that it's getting hit
He has a
and
knack for
everybody
making
likes
a
the
big
dance,
play.
everybody's like,
Another
oh,
one
that's
right
a great
there.
dance. I really like it.
Was the one they were trying
Really
to get the
wasn't a
ball
very
to.
good dancer, if you know the truth. And Icky, I love you, baby, but
Fields is trying to
You
pin
didn't
their
have to be
offense
a good
inside
dancer
the 5.
to do the icky shuffle. But not everyone could
Andy
follow the
waves for
simple
the fair
steps.
catch.
No, hell no, I can't dance. I can't dance at all.
I never did it. I think I tried to sneak it once at home when nobody was watching just to see if I actually could do it.
The key
That
here
goes
is
part
to
along with
step
winning.
up into the pocket and make sure
And
you
if you
get
win
those
enough,
feet set
you
before you
deserve the
throw.
right to do a
Ball
little
on their
bit of
own
that
8.
stuff.
The NFL disagreed, and later in the
Lines
season
up in a
decided the
4-3.
shuffle wasn't suitable
Little
for the
misdirection.
end zone.
I told Icky before the game I wanted him to go ahead and do it. That's
at
crap.
the 10-yard line.
You got to
That's a
execute out
bonehead
there.
move by the
There's
National
no
Football
second
League. They
chance.
ought to change it.
10.
The officials told me that. The official that threw the flag came over and said, "This is a crazy rule. I wish they'd take it out."
The Dolphins
The only
come
thing
out
we
in a
agreed on all
4-3.
day.
I can't to this day go to a speaking engagement somewhere
Throwing
that
it
someone
away.
doesn't ask me,
Couldn't find
would
a
you do the
receiver, so
icky
he threw it
shuffle?
where no one could get it.
Need a
White's
good
never
release
did the
on this
dance,
pass. Keep
but he
this
did
drive
keep giving the
moving.
ball.
Third down and long.
During
coming
the
up
second
here.
half of the season, the once pass-happy Bengals became a power running team, with Woods and number 21 James Brooks combining for 29 touchdowns during the regular season. But perhaps the most surprising Bengal runner was Stanley Wilson.
Drops back. Throws on the
Twice he
move.
had been suspended
right on
for
target
drug
to the
use,
wide receiver.
but in
The 20,
1988,
and
he
he'll
was
take
back.
it out of bounds. At
I
the
thought he was
31.
clean when he returned. He acted like he was. He had the look of a guy that was. He was certainly fighting it. He actually had an author follow him around. He was going to write a book about how he was going to beat this addiction.
If they call Stanley Wilson a dopehead and a coke addict again, I hope that y'all will throw the flag. That's taunting.
He's a good football player. He's a good guy. You know, some guys are just bad actors and you just not pulling for them. Then Stanley Wilson types, you're pulling for them. You want them to
Make sure the
succeed.
defense knows that they have to cover every receiver.
So they have
I
first
used to
and
have
10
him
here.
over after home games, and he would have a bowl of ice cream with me. The reason I brought him over there is
The
that
Dolphins
I was
line up
told
in
by
a 4-3.
doctors that you're most
With a
susceptible to
counterplay.
get back into drugs when you're celebrating or when you're depressed.
Orlando
Well, figure
is
it out.
there on
Either
the
win or
stop
lose, you're
at the
celebrating or depressed.
45.
Tell your line to protect here.
By the
Tell
end
your
of the
line to
regular
protect
season,
every play,
there wasn't
not
much
just
to be
here.
depressed about
You
in
need to get
Cincinnati,
some time back there
as
and let
Riverfront
someone get
Stadium
open.
was
Ball on
transformed
the 45-yard
into the
line.
jungle.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the jungle, sometimes referred to as Riverfront
The
Stadium.
Dolphins come out in
Welcome
a
to the
nickel
jungle.
pack.
It was
Gets rid of
insane.
it.
If anybody ever wanted to do it, study
It's good for
fan
a first
behavior.
down.
All you had to do is take a look at the 87
Get out
Bengals
there and run it
compared
down
to the
their throat.
88 Bengals. Because the 87 Bengals booed at home. And I was like number one enemy.
Goes
But
with a
in
four-man front.
88,
Number
all those
82
Bengal
goes
fans
in
that were
motion.
embarrassed the year before all became one. The contrast in both years, same people involved, was remarkable.
Just crazy stuff, you know,
They're going to spot
appearances,
this one at
things
the
that you never
29.
dreamed of
Three
because
tackles so
we were
far
never
for
exposed to
today.
because we
And
win.
this is the 8th
We were
play.
winning.
This drive.
Those things came alive. I didn't even know you could have a radio show as a player. I even got a radio show. Imagine that.
Davis, the deep
Bengals
back.
even had their own theme song.
Who they?
Justice with a man in
They
motion.
ain't gonna beat them Bengals. I don't know where that came from.
Collins.
Yeah, that was
is there on
Sam's
the
goofy
stop.
little thing.
At the
Okay, I wrote it.
27.
This is a
Nobody
play
ever
that you need. Trust your
comes up with
quarterback to
that?
make a good throw here.
It's third down, and they have
So
to
the
get it to
Bengals
the
60 minutes
23
away
to
from what they hope
convert.
the division title. They've got a second down and 9. Looking at
Lines
right
up
here.
in a
Boomer
4-3.
play action off to his
Throwing on the run. He finds his man. He's spotted at the 21-yard line.
Esiason's late touchdown pass helped send the game to overtime, where White watched kicker Jim Breach attempt to win it.
I can remember standing there and I'm
You're in a good
wearing
position
the
here.
only thing
Get
on the
snap,
sideline
drop
that's not
back, and let
NFL
your guys
properties
get open.
endorsed. A
Don't
pair of
force
leather
anything.
gloves. But I can remember looking down at those gloves and thinking, what are you wearing these gloves for? There's a big game going on. I'm worried about the gloves.
The ball is put on down. The kick is up.
On the call.
The Bengals are the division
Under pressure with the throw.
The man with the finish everything mantra had finished the regular season 12-4. For the fourth year in a row, Tim Crumrye had led the team in tackles. And Boomer Esiason was the NFL's MVP.
The weirdest thing happened to me. I was driving into my neighborhood. It must have been 50 houses. Had little black and orange Boomer signs after I was named MVP. All these people, 1 year later, wanted to show support for me. Probably one of the proudest days of my entire life as a human being and as a football player, because it really meant a lot to me.
Davis, the lone back. Can he get there? Pressure coming. Throwing it away.
Minutes before his first playoff game as a head coach, Sam White was lost in his thoughts. But hours before that game, White spent Sunday morning the same way he often did.
The quarterback needs to move outside the tight end box to throw the ball away.
I would sit there and I would listen to what they had to say, what their thoughts were, what their perspective on life was. And I just kind of put things in perspective before I had to go to that stadium and play a game that meant so much to so many.
Sam used to say it was, listen, if you don't eat all your lunch,
I'll tell you, there are plenty of guys in the league who take pride in making hits like that, especially when
I'm going to give it
it
away to people who need it more than we do. And we saw that as like, this is a hell of a human being.
Come out in a nickel package.
White cared about people and about his players.
And the catch is made. And he gets down the back.
A football head coach is supposed to be a guy that's going to be a grinder. It's going to make it uncomfortable for everybody and hold everybody accountable.
All of us have a great love for each other, fraternal love right now.
We'll come in looking to try the field goal.
But for 1988, he was one of us.
I'm inviting anybody that can find it, and I'm going to write the directions right up here at my house right now after this is over with. Got this big screen in the bedroom.
Sam was a player's coach, but he let you have it.
Shut up. Let me have it. We can throw the ball, and we can run it. We cannot do the same thing. Don't be a selfish football player.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, when he got
this one is fielded
Vince Lombardi-ish on us, we all didn't roll our eyes because we knew that wasn't his personality.
Yet. Each of these
but his communication skills were terrific.
Sam always had a
I could see this one getting decided by whoever has the last possession.
Tim, you're kind of looking fat today.
A little misdirection.
What do you mean I'm fat? I've been running 6 miles every other day. I'm not fat. You might be fat, just walk away. He drives you nuts, but he made you think.
And before each kickoff, he put one final thought in each of his players' minds.
I did it to relax a little bit myself, selfishly, but I also did it to let the players know that one last time I'm on your side.
Comes up to make the play.
And they'll be looking back in Oklahoma.
Everybody in Oklahoma's watching, I think. They have TVs here? Okay.
I can picture it in my mind, him walking up to me reaching up and shaking his hand.
In the backfield.
We'll get him, Coach. I know he will, Tim.
Gets
we'll
rid of it.
Let's go, Timmy. Be nasty. We're going to kick him. Don't worry.
He's there on the
simple.
stop.
It's a handshake.
Give this defense a shot.
2 or 3 words. But it's a memory you'll last for a lifetime.
Blitz with all of the defenders moving up to the line of scrimmage.
In the divisional playoff against Seattle, Stanley Wilson had a memorable game. He scored twice and was part of a ground attack that gained 254 yards rushing.
I couldn't have been any happier for Stanley Wilson.
Is there.
Come on, Stanley. Get it, Stanley.
At the 36-yard line.
It was the crowning achievement of him overcoming all that he had to overcome the previous 2 seasons. And he is back on the big stage, and he was doing exactly what he always wanted to do.
Rid of it.
Cincinnati's defense held Seattle to 22 yards rushing.
To make the play.
But it was the Seahawks defense, most notably the often injured Ken Barr and Joe Nash, who became the story of this game.
Tell them to get hurt.
They've had some big scoring plays, but this is their first time in the red zone.
It was obvious what they were doing, but it was their way of trying to slow down the no-huddle offense.
And Joe Nash knew that he didn't have to play third down, so he would always get hurt after second down.
I always say the tight end is always more of a threat in the red zone. He's a big target, and his skills sometimes cause matchup problems for the defense.
Well, at least they tried to do it on the field of play as opposed to some other teams who tried to do it in the commissioner's office and then steal the concept the next year and go on to 4 straight Super Bowls.
That other team was Marv Levy's Buffalo Bills, the Bengals' opponent in the AFC Championship.
Marv Levy said he would feign injuries like Seattle did, and he would make a farce of the game.
I wonder if their team feels ashamed of the way their coaches performed during the week.
Marv and I laugh about it. Marv's a good friend of mine.
We ought to.
I've got on my website a newspaper clipping of Marv's headline said that the no huddle is no fair. This was right after the '88 season. And the next year, of course, they were running it. Actually, the next year is when they invented it.
No huddle or not, the Bills were no match for the Bengals.
Resulted in a field goal. Ball on their own 23.
Hand off to Ickey, right side, touchdown! Ickey Woods. The Bengals have won the AFC Championship.
I was like delirious. Running off the field in the arms of my backup quarterback, Mike Morissette, realizing what we just accomplished and where we were headed to. As improbable a trip as any NFL team could have ever been on.
Davis is the deep back.
He just kept repeating, I can't believe I'm going to the Super Bowl. You don't remember the
play action.
bad games. As the years go on, those disappear.
With the pass, Harrison is there.
You hang on to that.
The defense dropped everybody back, but he was able to find some space and make the pass for first down.
That was a good read off the line by the receiver.
That's great. It's the cheesy 80s. What do you expect? And we're doing hit parade cheers in the locker room. It's just the Bengals. When you're winning like that, everybody gravitates toward the guy. Sam was the guy.
Nice play fake.
He could have said, we're going to chant, the cow jumps over the moon. We were winning. Whatever he said, we're going to risk
an interception. No cows jumping over the moon.
Why don't you show the defense what a finely
magician had the Bengals in the Super Bowl.
10 to go. They line up in the I formation. Dropping back.
As the Cincinnati Bengals arrived for Super Bowl 23, America was told what the players learned at a team meeting the previous night.
There's a major story breaking out of the Bengal camp, and it isn't good from Cincinnati's perspective. Stanley Wilson, who has twice before been suspended because of involvement with drugs, the Bengal running back suspended on the eve of the Super Bowl.
We get into the meeting room,
and I said, man, Stanley Wilson's had another episode with the drugs, and he won't be playing tomorrow. I remember guys taking their playbook and slamming them on the ground. They're dropping their head into their hands.
And this is where the conflicting emotions really hit, I think, all of us. Chris Collinsworth got up in front of the team and said, we got to win this one for Stanley. And the rest of the guys, I think they were going to kill Chris for saying that because we were all mad at Stanley.
Didn't mean enough to him to make the right choice. That was more important.
He's waiting for the fair catch.
And did the hardest thing I ever did in coaching, ever. I sat on the edge of the bed with Stanley Wilson, who was in tears, and all he could say to me was, Sam, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Tears running down. He's really looked like he'd been in a fight in a hose. He was just soaking wet with sweat.
Moving up to the line.
I said, Stanley, you're not going to play tomorrow.
The man in
motion. You may never play again.
Stanley Wilson never did play another game in the NFL, but Sam White wouldn't have missed Super Bowl 23.
The Patriots.
And the head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals, Sam White.
Get the ball to the open man. You can't give him an easy pick.
I basically was showing off. I mean, that's all it was. I wanted to be a part of that in every way I could.
Come on, man. Do it.
But this was our coach. I could think that every single one of us in that line going, what the hell is he doing? As opposed to, we're not going to win because Stanley Wilson's not here.
The Bengals' chances of winning took another big hit early in the first quarter.
20, they came away with 3
play
points.
Changed the course of the game and Tim Crumry's career.
Misdirection.
Tim Crumry slow getting up.
I knew it was pretty bad because Tim didn't get up.
Someone for holding up play.
On the offense,
trying to get
number
up.
87.
Thinking to myself,
Holding happens on almost every play. Just depends on whether the official sees it and decides to fall.
To lose. There it is, 69. Oh, baby, be all right.
Maybe we can see what happens to him. 69, middle of your screen, working on Randy Cross. Crumry going across. Watch the leg.
He's there for the at the 9-yard line. 9 yards will be.
I don't think we want to see that one again.
It looks bad, man. The Dolphins line up in the quarter.
Nobody
defense.
hit it. Nobody cut it. The turf didn't fly out. I just think it was an adrenaline thing that I was excited to be in the deal, and it's a self-inflicted injury. It was nobody's fault. It was my own fault. I got too damn excited. I was just too much into the game, and I probably wanted it too much.
Hang tough, Tim. We're going to win it. We're going to win it. Just hang tough.
I didn't want to get on the stretcher. That was like embarrassing to me to be on the stretcher. That hurt.
Rolling right.
You work so hard to get here. This is the supreme moment, and now it's lost.
Better kick it here.
They said, well, we have to take you to the hospital. I said, I'm not going to the hospital. I'm staying. So they said, we're going to have to cast it. I said, well, go ahead and cast it. They said, well, we're going to have to give you some painkillers. I said, if I take the painkillers, can I remember? They said, it'll be foggy. I said, I don't want any. I said, set the leg. I said, give me a bullet. Policeman here. I said, give
Number
me a
3,
bullet.
looks like he's just about ready to kick this one off.
Didn't have it. Wouldn't give me the damn bullet. So I said, give me a towel then. So I bit in a towel.
Sends it sailing.
Bit in a towel and he set the leg.
Crumry's got a segmental fracture of the tibia. I got him in a cast.
What's the tibia? The waist?
Still pretty early. It's been an even game so far. We'll have to see who can take control on this drive.
New England now shows blitz with all those defenders moving up to the line of scrimmage.
Crumry was proud of his defensive teammates.
Comes up to make the play at the 20-yard line. Ball on their own 20.
Gain on the play.
At halftime, the score was 3-3.
New England comes out.
I come into the locker room, and Tim Crumry is still in the locker room on the gurney.
Drops back.
And I'm like, what the hell is he doing?
I want to see the guys at halftime.
Can't avoid the rush.
You know, Boomer and everything. We'll get the ring for you. We'll get the ring for you, Tim.
He was a significant part of the team, and he wanted to be in the same building that we were. To me, that was like, I couldn't believe it.
Tim, we're going to get it for you. Don't worry about it.
Hand off to the tailback.
Yeah, I still remember those words. Watched it through the third quarter in the locker room, and then they had to get me out of there. They wanted me hung up in a ton of traffic at the end of the game.
Crumry stayed just long enough to see the Bengals' only touchdown of Super Bowl 23.
Come on, Stanford! Run it all the way back! Let's go!
Stanford Jennings is going to go all the way.
He took his eyes off it, and the ball is alive.
Get the pass and look to the sideline. You can't let the clock run down here.
It was magical.
It
was fantastic. This is my roommate. We spent a lot of time together. And you got to remember, his daughter was just born previous to the Super Bowl.
This one goes to the fullback on the right side, and he's got it down the bounds at the 37-yard line.
Pass this one to the outside. You give your guy
When Stanford did that, everything was happening. It just felt like, okay, it's going to happen for us this year. It's actually going to end on a high note.
Oh, yeah, chance. We got a chance. Oh, yeah. I'm still going to get behind. And we'll get that sucker.
47-yard line. So they
Late
have
in the
first
fourth
and 10
quarter,
here.
a Jim Breach field goal set the stage for one of the most dramatic finishes in Super Bowl history.
They'll go from the shotgun. Pressure.
3:20 left to go. The Bengals take a 16
Sometimes you see a quarterback purposely underthrow a receiver.
Remind me when they took over the ball at the 9-yard line.
I don't think that was the
probably
case
left too
there.
much time for number
was his
16.
intended target. Miami comes out in their nickel
Number 16 was the
and
focus,
this pass is complete.
but on
The
some Bengals
Patriots
minds
call a
and
timeout.
helmets was
They
number
have
69.
one left. Ball on the 41-yard line.
Play like you're world champion, so let's do it!
From the gun,
Play.
over
Let's
the
go!
air on first
Oh,
down.
you got on defense! Let's go!
With the pass, incomplete. Scott was the one they were trying to get the ball to.
Like he had done so many times when he was his coach,
This is what it's all about.
Sam White watched Joe Montana march down the field.
The Dolphins come out of a nickel package.
What's going through my head? I was the representative to go to Disney World. If we're going to go to Disney World, if we win, okay?
Come on, man.
And at
You
that
need to get
time,
this
I
first
get
down.
a group of people that get around me, including the agency, the client, the sound person, the camera person. They even brought a makeup person, for crying out loud. Getting ready to shoot this commercial. I'm going to Disney
He
World.
hits his receiver.
And with every
Barker is
pass that Joe
there for the
Montana is
tackle
completing,
at
I'm
the
going to Disney World, man. I'm
19-yard
going
line.
to Disney World. I got these
Better
people
kick it
around me
here.
wanting to know if I know my lines. It's a very surreal situation
Number
for
3
me.
will put them in the lead if he makes
remain
this.
to be played in this game. Montana's going to go back and throw.
The kick sails through. It's good. Going into halftime. The score is 23-21. Patriots.
The Dolphins. 34 seconds away from it.
You know, your body goes cold.
Take a
It
look
really
at the
does. I mean, I can feel the chill just
Get
run
ready
like
for the
that.
kickoff. Fields comes in to kick off. Decent
Please
kick.
keep
We should
pumping.
have a return
You know, you're not pushing any oxygen up.
from the 6.
The emotions are all so compacted
momentum
that you
has been
have no
going back
emotion.
and forth
You just
so
are
far.
numb.
This one looks like it's going to be a
And
close
I'm
game.
saying I guess I'm not
Right
going to
till the
Disney
end.
World. You know, they're running across the field looking for Joe Montana.
Out of the I formation.
You talk about adding insult to injury.
A little misdirection.
Part of the fourth quarter hospital bed. I felt bad for the guys.
Randall
Because I couldn't do my part to help the guys.
That's another pretty good game. Let me tell you, this is the kind of guy that you can build your offense
I didn't do my part.
Second
I wasn't
and 3,
able. So I got hurt. I still didn't do my part. And would have made a difference. I don't know.
Lines up behind his
But I
fullback
sure
in the
would
eye.
like to try.
With a counterplay.
I told him we were going to get him the ring. I hope he doesn't make me buy him one now.
At the 39. They don't deviate at all from the last play call as they keep it on the ground.
That was a good game, huh?
Lines up
I have never looked in its entirety. I've never looked at that ball game. I just found it too painful. To this day, I haven't seen it.
Be patient.
I've never watched the whole
When you
game.
see an
I've never seen it on
opportunity,
TV
that's when you
replay
attack.
and don't care to at any point in time in my life.
Defense
But you know
lines
what?
up in the nickel.
I always think back to the great memories that our team had, and the way that we did it was really unique in nature. We had a unique coach. We had great personalities on our team. And where we came from to where we ascended to is the most unpredictable of seasons that any team has ever had in the history of the league.
Four-man front.
You tell me, I'm a rookie. Your 6th year you're going to play. You're going to go to the Super Bowl. You're going to go to the Pro Bowl.
Nice.
From Wisconsin, nose tackle, number 69, Pro
Throws it.
Bowler
And
Tim.
the catch is made. Collins is there on the stop.
Right after it's done, I'm going to
You
bust your
should be
leg.
able to
Would
run
you
the
take
ball
that?
and get the yards you
I
need
would.
here.
Because that's what the game is worth. I do. Or you could say,
They've done very well
never
on
gonna
third
get the
down to this
experience,
point.
you choose.
Give it to the halfback.
I'll take
Zimmerman
rehab.
comes up to make the play at the 49-yard line.
Punt it away.
Tim Crumry broke both bones in his leg on January 22nd, 1989. He'd never missed a football game from the time he was in 7th grade, and he wasn't about to start now.
Number 13 comes into the game
Doctors
for the
didn't
punt.
believe. There's no way in hell you can
Sets
do
up
that.
to run back the punt.
Coaches didn't believe. They wrote me off. I kind of got 10th round
He
draft
signals for a
choice
fair
attitude.
catch.
I'm going to do this.
Both teams have played
I don't
pretty
care.
well so far.
I'm
It's
gonna
still
do it.
anyone's game.
It's going along pretty good. Feels pretty good. I guess 15 years ride.
Now shows blitz with all those defenders moving up to the line of scrimmage. The Patriots
Going
come out
through
of
the
the
rehab, going
back.
through
A little
the
misdirection.
aches and pains of that.
The 20, back
and coming
breaking
back
free.
and playing
The
years
30,
after
Parker
that.
is there on the stop.
The memories
At
that
the
I got
41. It's
that
first
Super
and
Bowl
10.
year.
New England crams the
Break
line of
another
scrimmage
leg.
with
Put me
defenders.
back in the Super Bowl, I'd go today. Even if it's coach. You can break it, I'll go as a coach, okay? Those memories are that important to me. And that's what it's all about.
Fakes the
That's who
handle.
you are. That's your
Throwing.
identity as an individual.
Ooh, nearly picked off. Alderman
Today,
was the
Crumry's
intended
identity
receiver
is
on
as
that
the
play.
Kansas City Chiefs
With the
defensive
cover.
line coach.
Let's go. You want to mess around? I'll mess around with your ass. Let's go.
Number 30, the
20
long
years
back.
later, he's still searching for a missing ring, trying to replace an
Under
AFC
pressure,
championship
throw,
ring.
and he hits
With
his
one from
target.
the Super Bowl.
Redmond is there on the stop.
I live
Focus defense
part
here.
of the dream.
First and 10.
I'm still short one part, that's all. I'll get there someday. That's why I coach. I do
New
it.
England now shows
to
blitz
finish
with
it.
all those
Inside
defenders
the ring.
moving
Sam,
up to
tell
the
you
line of
what,
scrimmage.
inside the ring.
Going to the air.
Finish everything, guys.
Finish everything is what's inside that ring.
Finish everything was the reason for that
Put up
season.
6
Finish
points
everything.
by beating the coverage.
And you know
Number
what?
two
We
does
didn't
have some
finish
holes,
everything.
I don't
especially
wear
in
this
the
ring
seam.
very often. The players
Coach is
call this the
telling them to go
loser's
for the
ring,
two.
by the way,
New England
and I
shifts their
doubt many of
sets so
them
they
wear
can
it.
I don't wear it
on.
because a ring is meant, I think, to signify first place.
If you don't stay in it,
It's rid of
you're
it.
finished. You're done.
And it's
I'm still
complete.
in it. I'm
And it
still
turns
going for
out
it.
to
I'm
be
still
a-
trying to get it. And I'm still living those days as a player.
Field
Why do you
is
play
just
the game?
about ready to kick this one away.
It's to win the Super Bowl. I was lucky. I was close to getting
This
it.
one is handled
And
by
maybe
number
someday
84.
that'll happen.
The offense takes over after they were unable to get any points on their last drive.
On the return.
Miami goes with a 4-man front. And with a counterplay. The 40. Midfield. He's pushed out at the 47.
Be aware of the pressure here. If you feel the heat, you got to make quick decisions. Just make sure they're good ones.
I am familiar with the book. I've read it. This is an amazing book. This book is hard to find. You try to buy it on eBay, you're talking about $100 or more.
This book is really about how to manage
was his
the best
intended target.
Get some time in the pocket and be patient with it. Don't force it into cover.
This book would be some of the things behind the scenes that I would have no way of knowing.
Goes with a four-man front, dropping back.
Scriptures you can get for a coach.
Collins is there on the stop at the 36-yard line.
Don't forget that your fullback can catch passes too. Send him out in a pattern and see if he'll break free.
What's the hard count? You're going to be a football player.
Miami lines up in a 4-3. A little misdirection. Snap breaks free. Barker comes up to make the play.
Look at that defense over there. You own these guys if you can just execute.
1st and 10.
Convince them that life is a team game.
Only one man back. They'll bring the blitz. Throwing on the run. He has his receiver with some running room. Lucas is there for the tackles at the 14-yard line.
Now, what's different about these kinds of screens is the fact that they don't take quite as long to develop as the screen plays to the back. Usually the quarterback will take a step or two, then fire it to his receiver on the outside. It's a quick play. It's very effective when it's run right.
This one will be spotted at the 13-yard line. He makes his 5th stop of the game on that play. Ball on the 13-yard line.
Bill Walsh has its ups and downs. But in the end, his story is one of the NFL's greatest masterpieces.
Hand off to the tailback. Perry comes up to make the play at the 9-yard line. 9 yards, they'll be in the end zone.
Young players that have excellent chemistry together.
The creator of the West Coast offense.
As Paul Brown would say,
goes with a 4-man front, dropping back, off-bound
dramatist
caught by the receiver on the screen. Touchdown, Patriots.
You better kick it here.
We're going to have to select between Steve Young and Joe Montana. That's a critical area for us.
A man nicknamed the Genius after 3 Super Bowl championships.
Was this the final game on the sideline for a great coach?
The point after is good. Big-time drive there.
After page, he remained his own worst critic.
I wish I'd have enjoyed it more because those were the true.
Number 3 will be kicking off.
A lesser-known chapter of his career is a monumental book titled Finding the Winning Edge. Written by Walsh 8 years after his retirement.
This one is handled
as
by
head
Forrest.
coach of the San Francisco 49ers.
No one has really taken control so far in this one. It's still anyone's game.
New England now crams the line of scrimmage with defenders.
This is everything that this guy talked to me about.
Number 80 moves in motion.
I'm not, there's places that I really am interested in.
I just can't Gibbons is there for the tackle at the 33-yard line. Ball on their own 33. New England shifts their set so they can pack the line.
This world too soon. It's just as you start to get to know him.
Number 30 in the backfield. Rucker sends a man in motion, going to the air on 1st down, throwing it away. Couldn't find a receiver, so he threw it where no one could get it. It's 2nd down and 10 to go.
He was giving talks and giving lectures, and one day he said, "Why don't I just write a book?" He was infamous for having all of his lectures, team meeting videotaped.
Jones picks up the set and he gets him again for a 2nd set.
Because you can go back and see exactly what was his mindset.
Walsh also looked to the past for a writing partner.
With the throw,
one in a former 49ers
he can't bring it down inbound.
They like to throw it to the sidelines in situations like that. His throw is just a little off.
Number 20 was the one they were trying to get the ball to.
I had a little cassette tape recorder.
Fields will come in now to punt it away.
Many cassettes.
Number 84 is the deep return man.
Conversations.
What's tending to happen now to the head coach is he's becoming
from the 27
more secretary and less coach.
After a short return.
It's fascinating to be able to look at the original manuscript, and I think you can get a sense of
spread the ball around and make sure the defense knows that they have to cover every receiver.
I knew we were going to have to bring it in to clean up the flow of the book because this was a little more than that.
Lines up in a 4-3.
Bill Walsh didn't pay me any money. It didn't bother me then. It doesn't bother me now.
Randolph is there on the stop at the 41-yard line. Ball on their own 41.
I said, Coach Walsh, if we're going to do this, why don't we make this your legacy project? He said, what's that? I said, let's
Miami
do a book
goes
that's
with
so
a four-man
comprehensive
front.
that no one will ever try to
Number
write a
49
similar kind of
goes
book
in motion.
as a rule.
With a legacy as large as Walsh's.
Looking to run it here. Randolph is there for the tackle at the 50-yard line.
Use all of the field when passing. Make sure the defense can't just sit there on any particular route.
How meticulous Bill was and how thought out everything was and how
Justice,
specific
back in
he
the
was.
shotgun.
Scheduling, down to the minute of this is how the way the player's day is going to go. Utilization of formations,
Dropping back to pass on first down.
How your plays should be in a minicamp practice when you only have
pulls him down at the 46.
Tell your line to protect here. Tell your line to protect every play. This year. You need to get some time back there and let someone get open.
No, we got to have
The Dolphins come out in a dime package.
Purpose for any information you give.
Dropping back.
Giving them more information than they need. No, I think this is important.
Closing in, take off. Rucker is there on the stop at the 44. Move the chains on third down here. They have to get it to the 40.
It's not going to sell anywhere near. And he says, I don't care.
The offense has been stepping it up on third down all day.
Although it went on
He
to
felt the
become
pressure
definitive
coming.
textbook for running an NFL franchise. Its author was tortured by the imperfections he saw within.
It just wasn't good enough, but that sort
Now,
of
smart
seemed to
coach
be
would punt the ball
how
here.
a lot of things had been for him. Even if this was a success, he would still somehow find a way to not consider it one.
Forrest back to return.
Coming up.
I'd be on the phone with him in half an hour, and I'm trying to convince him not to jump off the bridge, that he might win next
Won't
Sunday.
take a chance trying to return this one.
I spent the 5-hour flight home sitting by myself. I looked out
Here's
the
a
window
good
so that no
defense
one
for
could
this
see me break
situation.
down.
New England now shows blitz with all those defenders moving up to the line of scrimmage.
I decided I would resign as soon as the
They'll
season
pass
ended.
on first down.
I believe I have done as much as I could
And
do.
it's caught. The
and
40.
the job was
Strong
just too
comes
much
up
for
to
me.
make the play. At the 46. First and 10. New England now crams the line of scrimmage with defenders.
27 games into his NFL head coaching career.
New England comes out in their nickel package.
So we gonna take it. He inherited a team that won 2 games
Handed off
in
to the back.
1978.
Ball one. Redmond is there on the stop at
Before
the
he even coached a
35-yard
game in
line.
San Francisco,
New England shifts their set so they can
Walsh was
pack the
asked to
line.
host a preview film of the 1979 season.
Start over. What the hell was I saying? My mind wandered. And as he threw the ball, it was...
Roll back handoff. Great move to get rid. Johnson is there for the tackle at the 28. It's second down
He did
and
his best
way
to
to go.
hype the coming attraction.
New England now shows blitz with all those defenders moving up to the line of scrimmage.
Deep down,
Number 30, the
he
long
might have
back.
known his show was going to bomb at the box.
Tucks it away. Ziegler comes up to make the play.
Smart coach would call this play.
So we've reached the end of the third quarter with the Patriots ahead of the Dolphins 30.
He would hold all
29.
tryouts. And there would be
And we'll start
not
the
like
fourth
20,
quarter.
30
Third down here as they try to get
300
it
people
inside the
coming in.
25-yard
Just
line
trying
to
to find
convert.
anyone that could help the team at that point.
I can't believe it.
In 1979, we inherited a team that didn't do every game. I mean, that was the attitude of the team.
Gibbon stops him at the
They
19.
actually won 2
This
games.
defense looks good.
And after the second,
New England
a
now
town
shows
and a team
blitz with
the
all
lowest
those
of
defenders
expectations
moving up to the line of scrimmage.
celebrated as if they'd won the Super Bowl.
With a counterplay, Shannon is there for the tackle at the 21-yard line. Ball on the 21-yard line.
Second and 12.
I don't want to have to
Ball
suffer
on
through
the
this anymore.
21-yard line.
I don't want that sick feeling.
And they're on the doorstep now. Field goal with the ball in the red zone.
Smart coach would call this one.
I can
And
remember
this is the
well,
8th play of this
after a
drive.
loss
They're
to Miami,
inside
the
the
8th
20.
loss in a row,
18-yard line.
literally in tears.
I looked out
New England comes out in the dime
in
back
the middle of the night
with the throw.
because
And
I
the
broke down
catch is
emotionally.
made.
I had
Parker comes
conceded,
up to make
I
the
couldn't
play
get the job
at
done.
the 11-yard
Don't put
line.
everything on
This is a
himself.
good
He
special
wasn't
teams
blaming the
play.
coaches. He wasn't pointing fingers at the players. It's my system good enough? Am I doing it?
Here we go.
right?
This will take the lead.
Am I a failure or not?
Walsh
And
never
they're now on
accepted the
top
blame,
after the
but
successful
he
check.
shared his misery.
I'm coaching now at Philadelphia, and I finally got my program going, and he would call on Monday. I'd be on the phone with him in a half an hour and would hold up my entire offensive meeting. Now there's a 3-hour time zone difference, so it's midnight in Philadelphia, 9 o'clock in San Francisco, and I'm trying to convince him not to jump off the bridge, that he might win next Sunday. Bill, you're crazy. You know, you're crazy.
At the start of my 3rd year, I just wanted our team to have some respect in the National Football League, because we didn't. We began to demonstrate offensively that we could be interesting.
He would put plays in meetings sometimes and say, you don't have to flinch when you catch this. There won't be anybody around. You'll be wide open. You know, we're all thinking, yeah, they get coached too. And, you know, you'd catch it, get ready to get hit and turn around, and he would be right. Nobody would be there.
No one was within 10 yards of him.
We not only got respect, but we played more intensely and more fiercely than anyone in the game, because the 49ers had been embarrassed and humiliated for a number of years by virtually everyone in football. So whenever we had a game, it was sort of a vendetta. It was like the last game we will ever play, and we played that way.
Ronnie Lott intercepts. He's in for 6 points for San Francisco.
And what happened that year was like Ali coming out his first year. A lot of confidence. A lot of, hey, no one can stop us.
This time, when they carried him off the field, it was because he had won a division title. But for the author to have a storybook ending and a trip to the Super Bowl, Walsh would have to beat Dallas. Fittingly, he had scripted a perfect play.
We're going to call a sprint option.
When you think about the coaching point on my part of the play,
Dwight is in here sliding back out.
for him to say to Joe,
Dwight will clear. He's going to break up and break into the corner. Okay, you got it?
throw it to Dwight high enough to where it either goes out of bounds or he can jump up and catch it.
You're ready to go to Dwight, you got it? You don't get what you want. You'll just simply throw the ball away. Not there, the way it goes.
To think through that play all the way to that minor little detail, to me, you just really believe in every single thing he says.
Looking back on it, that was Camelot. That was Camelot. That was the origin of a dynasty.
Many people erroneously think they have only one chance to succeed in their life's work. And if they miss that chance, they are doomed to failure. In fact, most people have several opportunities to succeed.
From the 3.
Before Bill Walsh could write that passage, he had to experience.
This is just the kind of situation they were hoping for. Now all they need to do is put together a last-minute drive, and they're going to come away with a win. Now it's up to the defense to shut them down.
The legendary
number 49 goes in motion.
Bill Walsh loved him. He thought he was the example of how you do
misdirection. This one was spotted at the 30-yard line. He's able to run down another ball carrier for the 7th time. No gain on that play as the linebacker slipped in almost unnoticed.
Yeah, he did a great job getting in there. He was looking for the run before they even snapped the ball.
Miami with 6 defensive backs. Defense, get ready. Even allowed his protege to ghostwrite the Bengals play calling.
Dropping back.
It was convoluted.
Throwing. And he goes out at the 29.
Well, you have to go with a long pass here. So go with the hard count. If they don't fight, make sure you get the first down.
Then I would go to the messenger guard and then on the field.
Bill, we're not going to have much time probably when we get this. I don't want to try something that we're gambling a lot on.
In the run-heavy NFL of the early 70s.
It was almost like the defenders were in the huddle on that series. They hit a roadblock with everything they tried.
Like WKRP's Dr. Johnny Fever, Bill Walsh was living on the air.
Number 13 is ready to punt this one away. Morris is back to receive this kick. From the 23.
Paul Brown was ahead of his time, and Bill absorbed all this from him. But he wanted to take it to the next level.
Good one to call.
He wanted to
Crams the line of scrimmage with defenders.
wide with, well, if we get 9, he wants to go down the middle and hit it for a long one.
Little misdirection.
Walsh believed he was Brown's heir apparent.
The 40, running with a lot of room in front.
On New Year's Day,
the 30,
1976,
the 20, the 10.
The Bengals coach
touchdown,
made a bombshell announcement.
They extend their advantage with that touchdown run.
When Paul Brown announced that he would retire.
This is a good special teams play.
The next announcement was Bill Johnson is the head coach. The next announcement was Bill Walsh is leaving.
Bill Johnson
comes in for the extra point.
Friend. I'd follow Bill to the end of the earth. There is no connection between my
extra
leaving
point
Bill
attempt
and
is
the
good.
head coach.
They get the offensive players on the team. We all called Walsh. Don't leave. Don't leave. Please don't leave.
Fields is back and ready to put this one in the air.
I need my system to work somewhere where I get the credit.
From the
I talked to Paul Brown about Will Walsh. I asked him, I said,
time's running out, so they're going to have to score quickly. Hope the defense holds them. They have a chance to pull one out at the end.
Ball on their own 27.
Could be very high and it could be very low.
Being passed over by the man he idolized, plunged
it off to the back
into a deep depression.
Carter comes up to make the play at the 35.
That's another big run. The offensive line has been doing a pretty good job of opening up some holes.
He was in a state of shock. He came and lived in our basement.
The Dolphins with a four-man front.
Anything for a while.
Brown. He's brought down
distraught.
behind the line for a short loss.
Watch that game plan. You need to keep it stopped as much as possible.
Ball on their own 35.
But it didn't shake us. It shook us dramatically. It took us a while to get
The
out of that.
Dolphins come out in a nickel package.
The
With
only
pass
place
play on
Walsh could
third
get
and
a
short,
coaching
he
job
finds his man.
was at
They'll
Stanford
spot this
University.
one at the 43. What a
In the
performance.
NFL,
It showed on
he was
that play,
approached
and
and then
indeed,
passed
he's been
over
showing us
by the New
all
York
game
Jets.
long as that tackle
The
gives him a
expansion
total
Seattle
of 10.
Seahawks and the Los Angeles Rams.
Back it off. Collins is there for the tackle at the 45.
Pass this one to the outside and give your guy a chance to conserve some time by running out of
If I were
bounds.
to return to the National Football League, I'd want to go with the finance organization.
He learned later that Paul Brown had blocked him from a number of different coaching opportunities by giving him a bad review, by saying things that flat out weren't true. I think he was real close at the top of going to Green Bay. He thought he had the job, and Paul made a phone call and squashed him.
This is your chance to try something deep. Look for a mismatch and bomb it out there.
Gone to Stanford University and been successful. I've never been a head coach in the NFL. People had
The defense has had difficulty stopping them on third down.
kind of an intellectual approach to the game.
Tucks it away. Fakes the handle.
Fasten your seatbelts. The outcome of a Super Bowl
Rolling.
berth. Everything
Point out of bounds.
You know, as a receiver, you have to be aware of so many things. Where the first down marker is, where the defenders are, and where the sideline is as you stretch out to make that catch.
Quinn was the intended receiver on that play. Dropping back, snap, and throw. Randolph is there on the stop at the 44.
Spread the ball down and make sure the defense knows that they have to cover every receiver.
Publicly, it was all, oh no, it's just another game. It's not that important.
Does it mean anything?
A little misdirection.
In the Super Bowl, you're going against Paul Brown.
They're going to spot this one at the 36-yard line. He stopped him there, and according to our numbers, that's tackle number 6 for him. Second and 2.
For any revenge motive.
I think Bill wanted to win that Super Bowl 16.
The Dolphins come out in the 4-3.
Anybody could ever win it.
This one is handed off.
In the
They'll
first
spot
drive,
this one at the
playlist
33-yard
was the
line.
triple
He's in on that
pass.
stop. It's credited
The
with
reason
tackle
we
number
ran
6.
it is that Paul Brown always preached, if you got a trick, do it early before the other guy does it.
But with the Paul Brown of today, innovation remains a way of
Davis,
life.
the deep man. Hand it off.
I was thinking the same way in that game.
Lucas with the tackle at the 29-yard line.
Take what you can get on this pass play, but don't fight for extra yardage. You need to get out of bounds.
That was a Paul Brown play. But the message was,
Miami
remember
lines
me?
up in a 4-3.
I was there
Drops
when we
back.
used to do this.
Throwing. This one is spotted at the 24. He's put on a tackling clinic so far. He now has 8 in the game. It's third down, and they have to get it to the 23 to convert. Miami using 3 linebackers. To carry it.
The only thing that would make it better is if Paul
Lewis
was on the
is
sideline
there for the
instead of
tackle
just
at the 18-yard line. 13th play of this drive.
throughout the year.
Ball on the
Winning week after
18-yard
week,
line.
and now beating the AFC champion Cincinnati Bengals.
They've driven it into the red zone and need to come up with some type of score
In the
here.
1980s,
With a counterplay,
philosophical
Orlando
war
comes
was
up
being
to make
waged
the
in the
play.
NFL.
At the 14-yard
Some saw
line,
it as East
14th
Coast
play of the
versus
drive.
West.
They're inside
Others
the 15.
as smash mouth versus finesse. It was an era when many believed that might.
So they've had a lot of success so far in the red zone, and they'll try, obviously, to continue that here.
That
Little
the
misdirection.
run was better than
Lucas
the pass.
is there on the stop at
And
the
the sword
12-yard
mightier than
line.
the chalk.
Watch that game clock. You need to keep it stopped
This
as much
wasn't
as
the first
possible.
time Bill Walsh's offense was challenged by the old guard.
When what is now
This
known
team
as
has
the West
been
Coast
unstoppable
offense was being
inside the red
developed,
zone
it
today.
was summarily dismissed by many
Throws
people
on the
as
run.
nothing more
And he makes the
than
grab.
nickel and
They'll
dime
knock him
football.
out of bounds. At
History
the
has
7.
shown that
This is
these
where it really
individuals
counts. Use your best
were
play
glaringly
and put the ball in
mistaken.
there.
I agree with that.
He always kind of laughed at the West Coast offense title. He says, really ought to be the Midwest offense, because it's just the principles that we started in Cincinnati.
1969, they drafted this strong-arm kid, Greg Cook, from Chillicothe, Ohio.
He's brought down behind the line
Greg Cook
for a
could do things
short
that nobody
loss.
could do.
Now you're getting close. Run this play and get it even closer.
It's second and goal. At
Had he
the
not
9.
gotten hurt, I believe could have been one of the all-time great quarterbacks ever.
A shoulder injury suffered on
This team has been putting up good numbers
Eventually
inside the
ended
20
Greg
here
Cook's
today.
With the
And it
pass,
forced Paul
right
Brown
on the
and Bill
money.
Walsh to devise an
Touchdown,
offense
Patriots.
for Virgil
You
Carter,
better kick it here.
a quarterback who lacked the arm strength of Cook.
Let me talk to you a minute. Bill, what do you like next here?
It was high percentage throwing, lay the ball off short, let the receiver make the total
The extra point
yardage to
attempt
run
is
after
good.
the catch.
The defense has done a pretty good job.
Control the ball through the short pass, always looking for the big play, but going then to the short pass.
Number 3 will be
Winning
kicking
the
off.
division championship in Cincinnati with Virgil as our quarterback.
So it was a little nickel and dime football in the beginning, but he had to do that. He goes, that's the only way we could do it.
From the 4-yard line.
And he took it to another level.
Can't pull him down.
The defense needs to come up big with a stop here.
Ball on their
original
own
standards
27.
of the West Coast offense that Walsh
New
learned
England
in
now
Cincinnati.
shows blitz with all those defenders
Relative volumes
moving
of
up to the line of
coverage
scrimmage. Number 30, the deep man.
Short passing game, replicating the
Give it to the
efficiency
halfback.
and the security
Comes
of
up
the
to
running
make
game.
the play.
That's what
Oh,
changed.
this is a good one,
So
Paul.
defenses
Second
couldn't
down and 9 to go. New England shifts their set so they can pack the line.
The ball was coming out so much faster than it happened in the passing game. The defenses did
Rucker
take
with a
those
man in motion.
I think Bill Walsh was from another planet, to be honest with you. He was so far ahead. Simplified
This is a
everything.
good one to call.
Ball on their own
They gave
27.
quarterback options.
New England
He knows
crams
what's
the line of
primary,
scrimmage with
secondary,
defenders.
his third receiver. So it was very, very simple.
Green in motion.
It may have looked easy, but it was anything but for the men who had to execute
Looking
Walsh's
to run it
offense.
here.
We talked
Ziegler
about my
is there
footwork.
on the
And he said,
stop.
look, if you
At
all
the
just follow the
29-yard line.
directions,
This is a
footwork
good
that
special
goes with
teams
the
play.
pass pattern. I can tell you the timing for when to deliver the football into who on your feet. I'm like, what?
Fields comes into the game for the punt. Number 84 lines up deep for the punt return.
And so I started to learn the footwork of the West Coast offense.
He muffs it. The Dolphins pick it up. Big play on
Coach told me by timing when to throw to a certain guy, drop back, hitch up.
This is a good one to call.
After the fumble recovery, they'll set up shop at the 23.
And he's like, just follow the directions. And you can
Number
play
30
quarterback.
in the backfield.
Footwork.
I'll tell you, the problem with it right now, look at their feet.
I still hear them.
Give it to the halfback. Shannon is there for the tackle.
Give this one a try.
Inside the red zone. New England now crams the line of scrimmage with defenders.
Like 3 big and a hop. And that's why you feel like you're waiting on him because
Number 30, the lone back. Handed off to the back. Johnson holds him down behind the line.
This is a good defensive call.
Third down now. To convert, they have to get it to the 13. New England shifts their set so they can pack the line. Ross, the deep man.
I remember Bill Walsh talking to me one day, and he goes, Ronnie,
He gets the catch.
Joe's feet.
breaks the tackle. They'll spot this one at the 11-yard line. He found the ball carrier there again, and that's something we've seen plenty of in this game. They blitz and it backfire.
Yeah, that's a chance you take. You're hoping to get some penetration and hit him in the backfield. But if you miss, there isn't a lot of help at the next level to keep him from picking up the first down.
Tucks it away. Touchdown, Dolphins.
He pokes his way through the middle of that line. He's able to run straight ahead into the end zone. Watch it here. The blockers create a creep. He finds it, and he threw it on his way to 6.
It bothered him. I think it bothered him a lot.
For every person that said,
time to call the special teams play.
You wanted to go punch him in the mouth.
He always talked about delivering that first punch.
One of the battle cries we used was beat him to the punch. Beating people to the punch.
The extra point attempt is good. Big touch.
During the coaching sequence, I want that to be something they identify with. I want to hear it.
Fields comes in to kick off.
That line field is just like Marvin Hagler.
And he got all of that one. A great catch.
Bill created a poster that I helped him with that said, "We will not be out-hit by anyone." And all the players
time's running out for them. If they want to get back in this game, they're going to have to find a way to get in the end zone on this possession.
He knocked a couple people down, knocked a couple of his own players out of the way.
Miami might have difficulty covering all 5 receivers with a base 4-3 defense. Long throw.
Death by paper cuts is a fitting way for an author to beat an opponent.
Touchdown, Patriots.
And it was on
single
paper,
covered, makes the catch,
with his scripting
takes
of
it all
plays
away.
that Walsh prepared for his weekly battle.
To open the game through this.
You better kick it here.
It was funny because it initially started as the first 10 plays, and it ended up at 25, sometimes 26.
Because in Bill's mind, I can script the whole game if I could get players that would do what I told them to do.
The point after is good. The Patriots
Scripting plays
find
can be
themselves
even
right
more
back.
effective when you claim your coach's headphones don't work at the start of a game.
We knew they scripted plays. Well, we lost the toss in
Number
85.
3 is back and
knew
ready
they
to
were
put
gonna
this
get the
one
ball,
in
and
the
then all of a
air.
sudden their phones went out. Now, you know, the league mandates you got to put your phones down when the other team's phones
From the
go
4-yard
out.
line.
So it was just a coincidence that they got these plays scripted. They know what they're going to do, and then their
The offense has a chance to put this one away with this possession. They just have to be careful and protect the ball.
New England now shows blitz with all those defenders moving up to the line of scrimmage. Rucker sends a man in motion.
Calculated on their part.
Give it to the halfback. He's brought down behind the line for a short ball.
These phones go out again.
Ball on their own 37. New England now crams the line of scrimmage with defenders.
Okay? He looked at me with a little wink and he says, just a little gamesmanship. And I said, I understand.
Scripted plays
Handed off to the back. They'll spot this one at the 36-yard line. He put the hit on him, and he now has 7 tackles. Here's a 3rd and long situation. New England now shows blitz with all those defenders moving up to the line of scrimmage. Forrest comes in motion.
2 Super Bowls in the early 80s, but the middle of the decade was being dominated by the Big Bad Bears and the Beasts of the East.
Go back handoff. Going to spot this one at the 39-yard line. He found the ball carrier to make his 4th stop of the game. So as we get set for the punt, let's take a look at our returners' stats. Offense couldn't get it done, and they'll line up to punt.
Finding a middle ground between the well-being of the people who work for you and the achievement of a goal is one of the trickiest aspects of leadership. Bill understood that unless you get people to perform, you're not going to get very much done. And that's why he was such a great leader. He got the best out of people.
And this will be a touchback.
He really had a special talent. He could take a player and stretch him right
Watch
to the
that game
breaking
clock.
point.
You need to keep it stopped as much as possible.
So they have 1st and 10
Brings them all
here.
back together.
They have everybody 100% fresh for this game. Somehow.
Hey, watch the screen.
In some cases, it may mean a lot of sets.
Launches this one to the right. And he goes out at the 43-yard line. So the officials are calling for time, and I think it's because they want to review it.
And since we're in the last 2 minutes, that's a call that came down from the booth.
And as the official takes a look at the play, so will we.
And the issue here is that the official called him out of bounds. Now you have to look at not only did he get both feet in bounds, but did he have possession?
After reviewing the play, the
Walsh's
ruling on the
true
field
genius
stands.
was not
The player
X's and
had
O's,
control of the ball.
but handling people.
Montana puts it up in the air. And it
You need to hurry up here. So complete this pass and then get out of bounds.
Psychology had as much to do with the 49ers becoming the team of the 80s as the West Coast offense.
On the field in practice,
they'll pass on first down.
Players
it's
would
the
make
pass
mistakes,
off,
and
and he makes the grab. Randolph is there for the tackle.
He would turn
at
and
the
scream
40-yard line.
Wait a minute, just wait a second. The halfback crosses that way on
The Dolphins come out in a dime package, dropping back
I
to
can
pass on
remember
first
Bill
down.
Walsh
Pressure.
explaining to the coaching staff.
Big
why
man
he
gets in
yelled
there
at
for a
coaches.
big sack.
He's got a great combination of size and move. He won't be winning any races, but he's good at getting after the quarterback. Let me tell you, you never want him to be the guy falling on top of you.
Sends this pass out of play. Good, close contest, plenty of offense.
Now I'm being told by you what to do. Let's go.
Patriots.
the dynamic was...
This is Al Michaels with John Madden saying goodbye for EA Sports.
Jeez, I feel bad for my coach. He's getting yelled at for my mistake. And so what happened is a player think, I got to make sure I protect the coach.
Boy, if I ever get a chance to be a head coach, I'm not going to do that.
How do you think we started this game? Not very well. Okay, I mean...
And I'll be darned if, when I became a head coach, if you were to talk to Steve Mariucci or Andy Reid or John Gruden, I did exactly the same thing.
Why didn't he throw it? Why didn't he throw it? What happened on the screen? Why'd we run that?
That's me.
Why?
That's me.
Why is it you?
That's me. I sent it the wrong thing.
The formation?
Right up short. I sent it in.
That's in the first 15. Let's go.
As I got older, I said, I realize now why he did it. Pretty effective.
I have not insulted the player. I've not demeaned him or embarrassed him in front of his colleagues. That's orchestrated. And that's part of the demeanor aspect of the head coach. To think of methods that he can get what he wants.
Getting ready for the 83 season. Sits down, looks at me and goes, I think you can probably play another 6, 8 years in this league. Only going to play maybe 3 or 4 here. I said, excuse me? He says, yeah. He goes, you won't finish your career here. I just want to give you the heads up. He says, because I only want your good years.
Bill had a philosophy. My players, I want them off my team a year before it's too late. Nobody left the 49ers through the 80s really, like chipper. Nobody. You name the name. They left in their minds too early. It's just the nature of Bill. It was difficult, but it was masterful.
He pulled me in and said, I don't know if you can make the team this year. And if you do, I want you to take half salary because you won't be playing that much. When you hear the way he was thinking about you, it hurts you a little bit. For a couple years after I retired, I was mad at him.
He would sort of sever relationship. I know that had to be really hard for him because I know he really cared about people. And it must have been really important to him to win.
Being around it and watching him, I realized that his pursuit of greatness was bigger than me. You don't win that many championships unless you do that. It hurt, but at the end of his life, it hurt him too.
The San Francisco 49ers, owners of the best record in the NFL at 13-2, tops in both offense and defense, and the pick of most of the experts to win it all again.
In the 1987 playoffs, the worst loss of Bill Walsh's career almost cost him his job.
Joe Montana looking slower and slower as the age of the Viking pass rush began to catch up with him.
During the game, we fell behind and were unable to move the ball. I sensed that Joe Montana was not at his best.
Montana straight back, throws, sidelines, intercepted. It is picked off and in for the touchdown.
In the middle of the third quarter, I knew what I had to do.
A rare occurrence where you see Joe Montana lifted for the game.
It was one of the toughest decisions I had ever had to make.
That's a very frustrating quarterback right there.
I didn't want to be pulled. I didn't like being pulled. I always felt that no matter what, we can come back from a deficit with our team.
Joe Cool never got the chance. It was Steve Young who led the spirited comeback, but it came up short.
Well, the 49ers, who had the best record in football, are not going to be going to the Super Bowl. Not even going to be going to the championship game.
That was the third straight playoff game that we had lost under Bill's coaching. And Eddie was convinced Bill was not doing the job, and Eddie had instructed me to relieve Bill of his responsibilities.
It hit us all with like a ton of bricks. I was expecting to go to the Super Bowl.
I strongly recommended that he not do that. Let's tell Bill, you're still running everything. You're calling the shots. Just coach. We want him to coach because that's where his greatness lies.
Bill was not happy with that, losing the title of president. This change was eventually good, but initially tough.
Almost immediately after his demotion, Walsh rocked a coaches' meeting by proposing the unimaginable.
He said, "What do you think we could get if we traded Joe Montana?" No one said anything.